Can you think of anything that you used to think about something that now you think about differently? I have a pretty big list of used to thinks myself. People used to think that the world was flat, but now they know it's round. I used to think that I could make myself fly if I could just concentrate on it so much, but I can't. In Bible times, people thought that diseases and mental illnesses were caused by demons, evil critters that took over their minds or bodies and made them do evil things. Today, we think germs and chemical imbalances in our brains cause diseases and mental illnesses. People used to think that the devil made me do it, meaning some outside force was acting within our bodies to do wrong or harm. We now think that people make their own choices, and we have no one to blame but ourselves when we do mean, selfish, or bad things. In today's Bible passage, Jesus was teaching and healing people from sickness and disease. People were very surprised by his power, and they didn't fully understand yet that he was God and he was healing people. Even his own family members didn't understand him or who he was yet. In the story, a huge crowd gathered in the house where he was healing people, and his family found out what he was doing and rushed to come and try to make him stop. They were still in the used to think group at this point. When they got to the house, it was too crowded for them to get inside. So they sent word to Jesus that his mother and brothers were there. That's when Jesus asked a very confusing question. He asks, "Who are my mother and brothers?" Then he looked at those who were seated in the circle around him and said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does God's will is my brother and mother and sister." Do you think Jesus forgot who his family was? No way. Jesus didn't forget who his mother or brothers were, and he wasn't rejecting his biological family. Instead, he was saying that all of God's people are included in his family. He was expanding his family to all those who believe in him and who do God's will. They become part of his family. So when we believe in him and when we understand who he is and we live our lives as God wants us to, then we can be a part of Jesus' larger family of faith. Jesus' brothers and mother would later come to fully understand who Jesus was, and they probably had to add to their used to think list. You and I probably need to keep adding things to our used to think list too, because sometimes things that we used to think are just plain wrong. If we find something that doesn't match up with the way that Jesus would think, then we need to rethink it and move that old thought to the used to think list. Someone might have used to think that it was okay to leave someone out or not love someone or some particular group. That was just plain wrong, and it needs to move over to our used to think list. Today's story made it clear that Jesus' family was and is for everyone who believes in him and does God's will. I hope that you'll be a part of that family and help others know that they can be too.